Hello and welcome everyone. I am Gary Gatto and this is RaceVerse coverage of the 12th and final round of Season 2 of 2022 of the RaceVerse Formula Indy Series as we will conclude this campaign at the racing capital of the world, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Heinekamp Financial Indianapolis Grand Prix. Joining me for expert analysis in the booth, he's my partner from our Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split coverage, and the man has made me look good all season long by covering me for all these road courses we've been on. From the NHR Esports team in the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by Bud Kicker is Stephen Larkamp. Well, Stephen, we kind of talked about it in the pre-race because I was kind of comparing this season of dominance by Mitch Welker to the 2004 World Championship season of Michael Schumacher. I mean, he pretty much ran the table, and he has a chance to get one more race under his belt here in Indianapolis.
Very much so, and Welker is looking fast once again. Looking at qualifying right now, he's the only driver in the 1 minute 10s, a 1 minute 10.742. Christopher Hill and Nick Johnson in P3 in the low 111s. Welker's performance this whole season has just been a textbook case of how to dominate a championship. He's obviously been a very talented driver. We've known this for years. And he comes into the series with a car he knows well, with guys that he can trust around him. And really, as he always says, every week he does his homework. He figures out the strengths and weaknesses of the setup that they run, and he can just maximize. He has just been absolutely spectacular this season. And I will elicit comparisons to Schumacher in 04, Max Verstappen this year, Lewis Hamilton in the time when Mercedes was dominating everything in the late 2010s, Vettel at Red Bull as well. I can draw a lot of comparisons to that kind of performance. They've hunkered down, they've done their homework, they've just been, and they've utilized the talent they've had to the maximum. And today is going to be one more chance to show that talent for what it really can do. There's a lot of drivers that posted their qualifying times. I'm seeing Frankie Franchicia just finish up his run. Nate Siefker now moves up to P4 and arriving just in time to start his qualifying run is Gavin Sanders. I think he had some computer issues. He logged back in just now. But Sanders has got to get a move on. We got about 5.5 minutes to go. He's only going to have a couple of chances to lay down a lap.
Well, before we get into it here, let's take a look at the last results of the last race here. And there you have it. Mitch Welker, to quote a voice here of the Brickyard, surprise, 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 your winner at Daytona here a couple of races ago, or last race. Now you see the top three, Welker, Bency, and Johnston. Here is the points. Go ahead.
Now. Matt Houston just jumped up to P5. Great run by the boss man.
This is home track. Got to put on the great race for the virtual home fans.
Absolutely. Well done so far to Matt Houston, a 1:11.6. Sorry if I interrupted you, Gary.
No problem. Here is the point situation. Of course, first place all but decided here for a couple of weeks. Nicholas Johnson pretty much has P2 all locked up. So now we watch a really close battle for third. Gavin Sanders, Caleb Bency, and Nate Siefker make up the three that will be battling for the bottom step of the championship podium. 257 to 255 to 242, rounding out the final battle here of the season, the final campaign, that really a chance for anyone to make up any ground in the standings. Also looking to make some moves in the standings, Dakota DeMade's only 7 points back from Jose Ramirez. We have a pretty much from a 17th to 12th, and actually 17th to 11th, all pretty close and able to probably move multiple positions depending on their performance today. Team points, still not decided. Team Watson Racing by TWR still your leader, 540 over AAIR with Project 2, 495, and FBR Motorsports with TWR for a distant 454. Right now, probably it's mathematically going to probably be Team Watson Racing by TWR, but we shall watch. Standing starts here at Indianapolis. Real life and even in the virtual world can be hectic. Let's take a look at the rookie point situation. All but decided. Mitch Welker is your champion there. 495 to 178 over Jose Ramirez. And another award that we occasionally talk about, and it pays, so that's why we want to talk about it. It is the Safest Driver Award. Christopher Hill currently over Matt Houston by a pretty good margin. At 9.9, it's laps per incident. 9.9 over Matt Houston, 8.0. Dakota made 6.9, Seifert 6.8, and Cristobal Valenzuela 6.4, making up your top 5 of the safest drivers here on the grid. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left here in qualifying. Provisionally, Welker is on the pole. Anything else you seeing out there?
I was watching Gavin Sanders is on his outlap here. He's got a hot-footed to complete a lap or two, and he actually went out a minute ago. He actually crashed on his warm-up lap.
Oh.
So he's going to have to, he's taking another stab at it. So he's going to be, he's going to have to really get this one together. We got about 2 minutes to go. This will be his only chance.
We're watching him right now. He is rolling front straight.
Down the front stretch we go. And then onto the brakes for turn 1. 6th gear down to first. Just under 60 miles an hour at the apex. Through the S's, through this fast right-hander. Down to 2nd gear. About 82 miles an hour I'm seeing at the apex. And through this fast chicane, the new addition to the track. One of the new additions, I should say.
Down Holman Boulevard here in the middle of the race course.
175 miles an hour onto the brakes again. Bit of squeamish there under braking. Hits that big curb there. I do not like those. 2nd gear chicane here.
Yeah, a lot of the curbs are flat around here, but that's a big sausagey one there. Big
yeah,
meaty one there at that corner.
There's a few of those around here, and they are brutal.
Here's one right here coming into the infield portion.
This one originally used for MotoGP, trying to get and square off the corner, square off the exit here. Through a fast right-hander, hard to get the grip you need. Onto the front straight we go. And what kind of time does it give Gavin Sanders? A 1:12.1. That is 17th place. Unfortunately, I think the time is going to run out long before he completes this 2nd lap. So he is going to have to settle for that down in 17th position. Rough start to the night for Gavin Sanders, but knowing him, he can usually figure out a car pretty quick, and he'll probably recover from that if he can keep it together.
He's giving it the old try, though. He'll probably just help him get a little extra track time running this down to all zeros at the very least.
May as well at this point just improve your familiarity, because let's not forget here, this rescan of Indianapolis is relatively new. It came out a few months ago, and we were all very happy when it did. But the differences between this one and the old one are quite substantial, so it's still something that I think a lot of drivers are trying to figure out the nitty-gritty about.
And real quick, I want to, before we do the starting lineup, bring up the Be Right Back page. We're not going anywhere. I have new cameras that I'm going to debut for this. So, and am I not finding them? I guess I'm not finding them. All right, we're not going to worry about the cameras now. We'll debut those at another race then.
Yeah.
Let's get into the starting lineup here for the FIS here at Indianapolis for the final race of the season.
And on the pole, Mitch Welker, probably to the surprise of exactly nobody by this point. A mega fast time, the only one in the 1 minute 10s, 1 minute 10.742. Alongside him will be Caleb Bensi, the winner of Road Atlanta a few weeks back, 1:11.223. Let's see if he can pick that up in race pace. Christopher Hill almost had a win at the Nürburgring earlier this season until catastrophe struck him, but a very safe and consistent driver. He'll start 3rd in the 101. He'll be alongside Nick Johnston, pretty much locked up P2 in the standings in the number 28. Row 3, Nate Siefker, another good run for him. Starts 5th in the number 2. He'll be alongside the boss man himself, Matt Houston, in the number 66. A great run at his home track. Row number 4 will be his teammate, no less, Dakota DeMade in the 82, and he'll be alongside Byron Daly in the number 90. Had a great run going at Daytona Road Course last week. Sahaj Patiyar in the 72 will start 9th. He'll be alongside Frankie Francischia, rounding out the top 10 in the number 96. Logan Spath in the number 3 will be 11th, and alongside him on row 6 will be Jose Ramirez in the 75. Row 7, Principal Dan, Danilo Piazza in the 56, alongside Zachary Flom in the 20. The Fish Car, Cody Claiborne, the 31, will start 15th, and he'll be alongside Matthew Short in the 35. Gavin Sanders struggled there in qualifying at the end there. He had to hot-foot it in and just get a lap in. He'll start 17th, and he'll be alongside Christian Jasper in the 44. Rounding out the top 20, AJ Digby in the 81. He'll be alongside JJ Wang in the 61. Cristobal Valenzuela in the 33. He'll start alongside Jeff Groff in the 25 on row 11. Row number 12, Hugo Galaz in the 27. He'll be alongside Drew White in the 15. Matthew Johnston in the 404 will start 25th alongside Daniel Miglin in the number 4. And Ricardo Echevarria in the 027, the winner at Spa-Francorchamps. He did not post a qualifying time. He came in very late, so he's pretty much going to have to pick off all the spots he can, but knowing his capability, I'm sure he could do that.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to watch him and Gavin come from deep in the field. We know that both those are former FIS race winners. They have the ability to be able to do that.
Very much so, and I definitely think this track can throw pretty much all the drivers a curveball or two. And Indianapolis road course, it is something, for a long time it was something of a known commodity, but now with this new configuration, these guys are going to have to figure out the different bits of this track, and also particularly the different curbing. They're going to have to be very careful on the curbing in some of the slow corners. They're pretty much going to have to unlearn what they've learned about the old Indianapolis. I'm sure plenty of them have turned laps around here, but it's still not quite as familiar a feeling as the old Indy road course because, well, we were stuck with it for so long.
Yes, to quote Yoda, you must unlearn what you have learned.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're 900 years old. You reach. Look as good. You would not. Hmm?
Well, that's you do that way better than me, man. Way better than me.
What can I say? I love Yoda. Who doesn't? And yes, I am a Star Wars nerd. Thanks for asking.
Currently watching Logan Spath on the course. 20 seconds left here.
Caleb Bensi just looped it coming out of the S's, going on to the coming back onto the transition onto the oval. Just pretty easy to lose it there. He was running on the hard compound tire. These guys still trying to get a feel for the different compounds on this new configuration of Indianapolis. It's certainly a learning experience.
And we're getting ready to grid up. Hey, according to YouTube Analytics, that 41% of you are not subscribers. Actually, that's getting pretty good. I think when we started counting this stuff, more than half of you were not subscribers that are watching right now. Now we got that under half, but now we got 41% of you are not subscribers. So help us change that right now. We're all still on our drive to 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoy RaceVerse coverage of the Formula Indy Series and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. We have less than 30. Actually, now 27 subscribers to go to get to the magical 1,000 mark. So help us by hitting that subscribe button right now. We cannot get there without you. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on any future RaceVerse iRacing broadcasts. And we have lots of them coming up. So now let's get into it at Indy. I believe we have only one starting from the pits. That might be Principal Dan. I don't think anyone else is starting from the pits, so we're all gridding up and getting ready to watch the start of this race here.
Gridding is over. Mitch Welker, Caleb Bensi on the front row. Rebs coming up, waiting for the off. And for one last time, we are racing at Indianapolis. Good start by Mitch Welker. Slow start by Caleb Betsy. Look at the start, though, by Nick Johnston. Whoa. He's going to go for the lead into turn number 1. Beautiful start for the 28. He's gotten firmly to the inside of Welker. And that's Nate Seifker trying to make the move to the outside. Not quite working. And
Mitch Welker around.
Seifker and Welker make contact there. Nick Johnston takes over the race lead. Caleb Betsy into second. Unbelievable. Mitch Welker sent around. He's gathered it up, though. I'm not sure if he's got damage on the car. He's not really showing much, but he's lost a ton of positions. He's going to have to do the hard work once more.
Christopher Hill sending it to the inside of Caleb Betsy.
Christopher Hill, big lock up there, trying to get by Betsy. Betsy holds firm to the outside, now the inside now as they go through the S's for the first time by. But Nick Johnston, what a launch from the 28. That was one of the most beautiful starts I've seen in a while. He's gotten himself to the race lead.
That's a great start.
Beautifully done. Well done on the clutch point there. But Nick Johnston completes lap 1. We have a 55-lap race, 54 to go this time, and he's going to be ahead of Betsy and Christopher Hill, and they have pulled away handily over the guys behind them. Matt Houston also up on the move up to 4th place, but he's got Frankie Francischia for company looking to the inside, and Mitch Welker also behind him too.
And Mitch Welker probably driving seeing a little red at the moment, and he is pinched in. This car is driving in diamond formation. Here comes Jose Ramirez on the inside. He is going to go for a twofer. And he pulls off that pass. Here comes Mitch thinking about it, tucks back in.
Welker all over the back of Matt Houston, and that's Logan Spath behind him. Here comes Spath behind him.
Logan.
Look at Welker immediately dives to the inside, the end of the back straightaway, and he looks like Houston's got his nose in. No, he doesn't. Welker holds it around the outside. Well done to him.
So after that lost track position, put Mitch Welker up to 6th, and we're away on lap 2.
It doesn't seem like the damage has affected him that much, if there is any at all. So Mitch Welker still very much in with a shot of it. And next up in line, he has got Jose Ramirez and Frankie Francischia to contend with. But Nick Johnston, Caleb Betsy, and Christopher Hill, they've gotten themselves a nice little 3-car train here, heading back into turn 1 on lap 3.
Dakota DeMaid on push to pass. Dakota DeMaid on push to pass to the inside.
Betsy looking to the inside on Johnston for the race lead.
Go back there.
Side by side stuff. Betsy trying to look to the inside. He has his nose in. Johnston, both these guys running on the hard compound tire, I should note. Betsy trying to hold it around the outside. Not quite enough. Johnston way out wide.
We're going to go 3 wide.
3 wide action. Caleb Betsy in the middle. Christopher Hill looking to the outside. He's got his nose going up the back straightaway. Betsy, bit of a lock up there. He's going to hold on.
This is great racing, folks, and he drove it really deep in there, kept it under control, and now he's fighting with Nick Johnston.
Beautifully done by all 3 of these drivers. Caleb Betsy gets the race lead. Nick Johnston, the big loser, sadly. Christopher Hill slots back into 2nd place. But Caleb Betsy, same position as he saw at Road Atlanta, and Mitch Welker, I heard on the radio, actually drop an expletive there. He was not happy with Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, they're in a battle right now.
Looking at it, it was almost a hip check there.
Yeah, he's into the inside of Ramirez, coming down the 1.
Yeah, and looking at him going into that infield complex
Ramirez
as
gives him no room.
Wow. He's probably not a happy camper being in the position he is. But Welker going through that infield section where MotoGP ran before IndyCar did, looked like Ramirez gave him a bit of a hip check going into the left-hander there, and Welker dropped an F-bomb, in fact, over the radio. He was none too pleased with the 75 there.
We'll see what the race stewards think of that. Hopefully, Mad Mike there, his spotter, which we will hopefully be talking to in the post-race. Mike Hurley there, his spotter, is calming him down. But we're watching this very heated battle now between Ramirez, the 2 top rookies this season. So there is no shortage of talent going on right now.
Absolutely not. And one thing I should mention here is you'll notice Mitch Welker started on the soft tires. A lot of the leaders, however, a lot of the other leaders started on the blacks. So they're going to be going a lot longer than Welker is. I think Welker is banking on an early pit stop here as indeed he clears Jose Ramirez into turn number 1.
And I think that pass was handled with a little bit of red in the eyes of Mitch Welker. Again, Ramirez going to bring it to the inside again.
Ramirez comes right back at him. He is not daunted in the slightest. Not quite enough to get the pass done, but Jose Ramirez is not taking this line down.
Ramirez push the pass. Let's hop on board. Let's watch this battle.
Oh, look at Ramirez. That was a diving move to the inside and the end of the back straightaway. Ramirez not quite enough there, but I think Ramirez is seeing red just as much as Welker was.
Yeah, and he is grabbing a lot of curbs and might have grabbed a little bit of grass that time, and that's what opening up the gap now between him and Welker.
This is really showing the, not just showing the level of determination these guys, but also the talent that they haven't, that they've been this aggressive, but they haven't wrecked each other yet.
Yeah, and that should also tell you that even though the championship is long but decided, there is still some aggression out there. These guys want to set a personal best this race of either a personal best finish, a fast lap. Ramirez getting the squirrely.
Very close stuff. And Mitch Welker has honestly locked a brake going into turn 1 himself. So there were... And, yeah, Ramirez got himself up on that massive curbing there. And, now, I do like that we have the new Indianapolis road course, but I do not like these big curbs. They suck. They are just ridiculous. They can upset a car insanely easily.
Well, we got a couple of retirements already. Sadhij Padhar, he is currently in the pit showing out Drew White. And then Padhar, 27th, currently classified in 27th. Drew White, classified in 26th, is showing out. Nate Siefker is out. So there's some championships third step implications right there. JJ Wang showing out. Byron Daly showing out. We've seen a couple cars have already hit pit road to get some damage taken care of. Jeff Groff, Gavin Sanders have already hit pit road for some damage. Principal Dan started from the pits, and he is up to 17th.
Yeah, and Piazza was going to be one of those guys that I had a feeling was going to be picking off a lot of people in front of him. Next up on his list will be the 404 machine of Matthew Johnston. And now the old dogs, number 56, looking to the inside into turn number 1 and gets the pass done there. Johnston trying to come back. Not quite enough there, but he's starting also on the hard compound tire. So he's going for a long run early, and we'll see how long that can take him. I remember the old one, you could get about 22 laps on fuel. I would imagine that would be a 2-stop race for everybody. So I'm guessing Piazza thinking... I'm thinking probably at some point when he can get the most lap time out of the tires as possible. Something's wrong with Christopher Hill.
He might have had an off, and he is down to 6th.
In fact, he did. He actually lost it coming onto the oval once again. Oh, left wheels in the grass. Welcome to iRacing, where the grass is lava, and Christopher Hill just got sent around by it. That really seemed to hurt him there. But he's cars undamaged. He just lost a ton of track position. He's down to P6. Next up will be Jose Ramirez, Frankie Franchicha, but all this moves Mitch Welker back up into P3. He's gotten around Franchicha, and he'll now set his sights on the 2 race leaders. Lap time-wise, Bensi and Johnston both running 1:13.9s. Welker with a 1:13.6. So a little bit quicker at this stage, but let's not forget here, Welker is on the softer tires, so we may soon reach the crossover point where those tires are going to be slower than the hard compound black tire.
Following Principal Dan from his start in the pits. He's up to 15th. Also keeping an eye on Ricardo Echevarria, our winner at Spa, up 9 spots.
Good start so far by Echevarria. Managed to stay out of trouble. Of course, being about...
Zach Flaum in front of him, sporting some side pod damage.
having a look at that left side pod. It's just dangling in the wind, it would seem, on the 20 machine. Not exactly ideal, I'd definitely say. And now, Echevarria sees that. He's probably just thinking that'll be an easy one for me in the near future. But Echevarria being 26 seconds in arrears is definitely not ideal. But of course, he started last, so you get spread out fairly easily by how the pack just naturally forms. So he's going to have to extract every last bit out of the car to close up the gap. Later on the going, ooh, I saw Daniel Miglin almost Tokyo drift his way through turn number 1.
Dan Miglin has had trouble with the 1-2 complex for the last lap and a half. He's last 2 laps actually. He's come through there and had an off one and a slide through on another. So trying to get the handle. Here comes Principal Dan, full send down the backstretch, gets the spot on Digby. Move Dan up to 14th. Digby down to 15th.
Slowly but surely, Piazza starting to make up time here. Good start so far. Next up for him will be Christian Jasper in the 44. He's and got himself in a battle with Matt Houston here for P12. A terrible start, sadly, for Matt Houston from 6th up to 4th at one point, but down to 12th. Just been kind of shuffled around by the guys around him here. And just got caught up in the ebb and flow of it all. And next up, and of course, they got to worry about Piazza behind him.
Logan Spath spin in the 1. He recovered, got a safe rejoin, but giving up track position.
Yeah, Spath was running 8th. He now finds himself behind Jasper and Houston right now, down in 13th position. So bad moment there for Logan Spath. A very unfortunate moment. And that's kind of what we see a lot of people trying to figure out with the Indy road course. It's not so much just the basics of it. It's finding the consistency of it all. Consistently hitting the marks you need to, simply because of the differences compared to what we've experienced. It kind of, after a while, a track kind of becomes muscle memory to you. And now the muscle memory has to come back to you due to this new reconfiguration. So a lot of these guys, I think, it may be kind of subtle in many ways, but they're trying to figure out the consistency to complete a long race here on the new Indianapolis road course, one race at a time, frankly.
I think Franchica had an incident on the south end of the race course. He is now back down to 6th. Christopher Hill looking for a way around Jose Ramirez as they're now in the infield portion on the north end of the race course.
Yeah, look at Franchica. It was actually in the infield complex to the inside of IndyCar turn 1, and he just overcooked it on entry, locked it up on his own.
Oh,
so Franchica down.
Watching inside, we're on an in-car. Oh, Hill and Ramirez make contact going in.
Ramirez sent around. People trying to avoid him there. That was Franchica getting back by him, but Jose Ramirez
right there about turn 10 or so.
Yeah, that was definitely contact between him and Christopher Hill, and that was a tough battle going on there, but Ramirez comes out the worst of it.
Bump Ramirez now down the 7th. He is right behind Dakota DeMaid, who's worked his way up to 5th now. Frankie Franchica on pit road. He says, I've had enough of these alternate tires. He is coming in to change to the prime tires. Looking at stint-wise, what to expect for tonight, Intel passed to me says that we're probably looking at something like 21-21-13, 13-21-21, something like that. Definitely a 2-stop race, though. And we're right at that mark where Franchica is coming in and wanting to get these tires off.
Yeah, and at least there's something, because the thought I was having was comparing it to the old Indy road course, you could get about 22 laps, roughly. So maybe a bit worse fuel mileage than the previous configuration of this track.
That's interesting because you have more uninterrupted throttle at the old track than you do on this one.
Yeah, at the same time, though, you're accelerating a lot more on this one than you are on the other one there, so you're burning up a lot of fuel going through the revs. So that's probably the main reason why that is.
And then, of course, this track or this configuration is slightly shorter, not by much, I don't think, than the Formula One course.
Yeah, because of course, as well as the new infield chicane, basically coming and going through the oval turn 1, where that would be, and aside from alongside that being added, they've also taken away a fast sweeping one of the infield sections in the infield itself, and that made the track a little bit longer in its own right. So it may have balanced it out in some ways, but probably a bit shorter, because I do remember that that section did seem quite a bit longer than the current configuration was.
Of course, this that portion that we're talking about going into turn 1, which is you see them turning into right here. Of course, in the old days, that used to be the snake pit, where all sorts of debauchery, I guess, would go on during the race. I want to say there was a lot of people spectating the race there. That was a place that you wanted to spectate the people that showed up for the race. That was one of the infamous snake pit spots. And of course, the other infamous snake pit spot is right here in turn 4. When they closed down the infield on turn 1, everyone just moved down here to turn 4.
Yeah, I mean, and really no true great festival worth its salt is complete without a mosh pit. Let's not kid ourselves.
Now, the current snake pit is just a shadow of its former self. It's just a rave going on in and around the turn 3 area. But a very impressionable Gary Gotso at age, would have been 14, was sitting in the Northwest Vista there, watching qualifications in ¡88 when a riot broke out in the turn 4 snake pit. That is some of the best action I have ever seen in my entire life.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
It is a story, and then have to explain that one to your mother when you get home. You didn't see that. You didn't see that riot, did you? Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, have fun explaining that one to the folks, especially if they're a bit jumpy.
I was with my dad, and he was...
Well, that helps.
Yeah.
And looking right now, the lead battle is actually closed up quite a bit.
Quite a bit here, yeah.
Yeah, Johnston, about 0.6 of a second was the gap coming across the line to Caleb Benzie right here. So Johnston really making a stab at his first win of the season. And Johnston has been majorly consistent as the season has gone on. We talk a lot about how Mitch Welker has done, but Nick Johnston has also been very, very strong, very consistent. It's just that dang Mitch Welker guy that keeps getting in his way.
Any other championship that doesn't include Mitch Welker, and Nick Johnston has this championship.
Pretty much, yeah. But Johnston really looking to close up on Caleb Benzie. I've actually seen Benzie lock up a few times coming into the slower corners. So Johnston probably sensing a bit of blood in the water at the moment. Just closing up surely and slowly but surely through the final corner. Down the front straightaway we go. Start of lap number 16 of 55.
We got Jeff Destino in chat. How you doing, Jeff? Got Mad Mike in chat as well. He was even talking about possibly kind of doing what almost happened, or what did happen in the Cup Series race here, where the car kept going straight and used the rejoin road there. They talked about possibly even doing that. Maybe they even now want to consider that. But even though at this point, really, Mitch has regained a lot of the track position he lost. He's now up to 3rd. At that point, he really moved down to 6th and 7th. When he regained control of his car after getting bumped by Nate Seifert there at the start of turn 1, lap 1.
Yeah, Mitch Welker's done a very good job methodically just picking his way up through the field. He's not really been catching up to the 2 leaders at the moment here. The red tires seem to be starting to wear off a little bit on Welker's machine. So the gap hasn't grown, but it hasn't shrunk either. It stayed remarkably consistent around 3.7 seconds over the last few laps between him and Benzie. But Johnston is the man on a mission right now. He's closed up to the back wing of Caleb Benzie. 0.4 of a second of the line this time by. It stayed steady, about 0.4. Johnston really starting to amp up the pressure, and on a track like this, you're really, like, you have to nail your turn-in point. You have to nail your apex. And because if not only are you going to be slower than you want to be, depending on the corner in question, you're going to hit that curve the wrong way, and that's not going to be fun.
You got to be a near surgeon around this track because it is very slippery as well. And if you go back to our RIL coverage here, that's the Revolution Indy Leagues coverage that we had here. The first time we ever covered a race on the Indy road course, a new configuration of the Indy road course, he was gifted a win when Alex Van de Sant spun out going into turn 1 on the white flag lap and handed the win over to Nick Johnson. And it's just very simply, he missed his mark. Just one moment of losing focus, and it cost him the race, despite dominating all race long. Hey, if you're just joining us, this is RaceVerse coverage of the Formula Indy Series coming to you from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Grand Prix course. We've completed now 18 of 55 laps. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications. We are getting very close to the first round of pit stops happening.
Very close indeed. We're expecting around lap 21, maybe 22 if they can stretch it, especially for the guys on the hard compound tire. I'm actually shocked. I'm kind of surprised that Mitch Welker has not come into pit himself for starting on the softs and soft tires after he was punted, no less, in turn 1.
He's starting to lose time, actually, to these guys.
Yeah, and he still maintained pretty much exactly the same pace as the race leaders on softer old tires. So Welker really holding on to the pace right now. He seems really like this is kind of the trend we've seen, and we mentioned this at Belle Isle before. Welker has a knack for making the red tire work as well as for making a soft tire work just as well as a hard tire, but make it faster.
Seeing the first of scheduled pit stops happening. Dakota DeMade hit pit road. He is down and away. He rejoins in 19th. Gavin Sanders up to 18th. Frankie Franchica up to 17th. And Nick Johnson taking a look to the inside of Caleb Benzie going in the 1. Not going to look, not going to do it, but he definitely taking a look and thinking about it.
Gave him a little something to think about there, did Nick Johnston. And we saw him catching up there. It's down to 2/10, and frankly, you don't need me to tell you that. Very close stuff right now. Johnston wants to get that first win. Benzie wants to get that second win of the season. He won earlier this season at Road Atlanta.
Here we'll ride along with Caleb Benzie looking out right about the rear attenuator of the rear of his car.
And that really just shows how close these guys are. 150, 160, 165 miles an hour onto the brakes, into the S's, down to about 65. And then through the left-hander, trying to square off the exit, trying to get as much momentum as you can. Through the fast right-hander, and down the front straightaway. But Johnston still
on
right
push to pass.
there all
Here
over
he comes.
the attenuator.
Watch him get closer to your picture. Watch him. Here he comes. Pulls out to the inside.
Looking to the inside as Nick Johnston for the race lead. Side by side through turn number 1. Benzie coming right back at him, though, through 2. Still wheel to wheel through here. Benzie trying to hold it tough on the outside. Not quite enough. Nick Johnston takes over the lead at Indianapolis.
Mitch Welker on pit road, by the way.
Welker coming in about a lap earlier than expected. Here comes Benzie right back. Benzie comes back to the inside, side by side again, coming off the back straightaway through the S's this time. Not quite enough. Johnston holds on for now. Johnston just holding on to this position. Benzie not giving this one up lightly. Bit of a lockup there from Benzie as well. But Nick Johnston holding on to the race lead. He was threatening it for a while. And then for at least one more lap, he's going to stay out. Same with Benzie as well. Cross the line again. Nick Johnston, your race leader. Caleb Benzie, Christopher Hill, Jose Ramirez in P4, Mitch Welker further down the field. Of course, he just made his pit stop side by side, actually, with trying to see that's the 104. And that's the 404, I should say. Matthew Johnston way down in 14th position. Mitch Welker trying to clear them and get some clear track in front of him.
Yeah, he is on the prime tire at the moment.
Yeah, switched over to the primes.
Battle for Digby and Johnston. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This is a battle for 14th going on right now. And Digby has a run on Johnston. Johnston holding his line. Digby not going to be close enough to make a move.
And a good race so far by both of them right now. Johnston started down in 25th up to 13th. Digby up 5 spots from 19th to 14th. Good battle between these two. Keeping an eye on the lead battle. Bensi on pit road now.
Yeah, this pit road has one of the longest times on pit road. I mean, you are nearly on pit road a minute. And just to give you an idea, Mitch Welker, 53.1 seconds on pit road, 9.2 in the box. That's a bit of a slower stop for him. Maybe there might have been some damage to look at from the contact with Nate Seifer, but we'll see. Here comes Caleb Bensi down to his stall, way down at the end. Bensi already on pit road, 30 seconds by this point. Here he's into the spot, and now the timer starts. Yeah, just painful slow.
But of course, everybody has to deal with it. Bensi down off the jacks, and away he goes, and he will put and having a look, he has put on hards once more. So he's going to go for soft tires at the end of the race.
Yep.
Meanwhile, keeping an eye on Nick Johnston, seeing when he comes on the pit road. And he does this time at the end of lap 22.
Bensi 53.6 on pit road, 9.3 in the box. Here comes Johnston. Now he gets the counting there on the timer as soon as he hit those cones. And now he has a long coast down pit road before he hits his box.
Same with Christopher Hill, who also dives on the pit road too. Jose Ramirez in as well. So the leaders finally making their stops.
Cody Claiborne coming in. He locks him up. So does Valenzuela. Christian Jasper coming in. Everybody's coming in. Dan Piazza, Principal Dan, he has worked his way up to 7th now. Matt Houston coming in, where he's worked his way at the 8th. Here comes Caleb Bensi, and he has Mitch Welker right on him right now. So we have a battle brewing, but Bensi's going to pick up a ton of positions right here with all these cars on pit road.
Yeah, here they come down the front straightaway, and you are right. Mitch Welker is closed up certainly with Caleb Bensi right now. The gap just over a second.
And Bensi,
and Nick Johnston. And here they come.
Here we go.
Bensi
he gets
actually
a
jumped
drop on Johnson. Johnson to the inside now. Coming through. Now he's going to take a look to the other side. Coming through the
contact. Johnston makes contact with Caleb Bensi. Bensi's still going there, but Johnston is slow. Johnston is slowed down. Does he recover? I think he'll probably have damage on the car. But Mitch Welker moves himself up to 2nd with that. This is definitely the moment he needed.
I don't see anything wrong with the wings. Looking at the in-car cam, but these cars are very sensitive to contact.
They definitely are.
You can't smack them into the wall and ride them around. And now.
Welker to the race lead.
Bensi moves over.
Does Bensi have damage, I wonder? In fact, actually, does he have damage? He slowed. Did he slow down to let him by?
I think he slowed down.
Yeah, he slowed up to let Mitch Welker by. I'm not sure why that is.
Yeah, these cars very sensitive to impact either with each other or with the wall. You can't do what they do in Martinsville with these things.
Oh, absolutely not. You can't pull a Ross Chastain with these things, and that could mean two different things when we're talking about Indianapolis, I'll say. But Bensi still right on the gearbox of Mitch Welker, amazingly, and Nick Johnston has not lost these two either. So I don't think this is over quite yet, folks.
Might have been a gentleman's move to show that contrite and giving up the position that he had for the lead. Of course, Mitch Welker, not saying he's any less of a gentleman, but he's like, okay. And he goes ahead and takes it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Welker. I wonder what Welker is probably thinking in that instance. He's like, okay, that's maybe a bit unnecessary, but thank you anyway. But Bensy's not giving up either. He's still right up on the gearbox of the 76. He's gonna have a run,
and he's not even using push to pass.
Just using the draft there, up to 185 miles an hour, side by side into turn number 1. Bensy looking to the inside on Mitch Welker. Welker forced wide there, still wheel to wheel through turn 2. Can Bensy hold the advantage? No, they're gonna have to. He's gonna have to send it here into turn 3 if he can. Not quite enough.
Still side by side through the chicane, now down the Holman Straight, and now here's
comes Johnson.
Oh, Johnson!
Nick Johnson is still in this.
Takes slightly evasive action.
Very close to contact there, side by side for second. Bensy and Johnston, they definitely don't want to be doing this. They want to run down Welker, but still side by side again. Oh, this has been fantastic all night long. Johnston clears Bensy for now.
Welker's getting away.
This is all letting Welker get away, guys. I wouldn't be fighting like this. I'd be fighting when you catch him.
He does the over-under.
Oh, bit of contact, wheel-to-wheel contact there between Bensy and Justin. Oh, so close as well, but Bensy gets the better of it. He takes the spot. Oh, this is just killing their lap time, though. They're losing a lot of ground to Mitch Welker. And it's allowed to, look at that, 1.5 seconds already here. Guys, I think this should tell you something. You really shouldn't be fighting it this hard for second place when you could fight this hard for the lead later on if you just work on getting by Welker first.
And if you're just joining us, I mean, we're not even really quite to the halfway point. If you're just joining us, you're watching RaceVerse coverage of round 12 of the Formula Indy Series coming to you from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where Mitch Welker, despite spinning on the first lap, is currently our leader. We have a little more than still half the race to go. You can show your support of RaceVerse, become a member of our Patreon page today. Join us at patreon.com/RaceVerse, and you can become a Patreon there. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. Looking in chat, Mad Mike, actually, just to tell you the level of research that Welker does, they actually did a timed test of where they used the runoff road down at the end of the front straight. And he's saying that it's only about a second. You lose only about a second, even with the slowdown.
Wow. Like, that just shows how much they go into it. It's a science as much as it is an art, and Mitch Welker has mastered both. And lap time-wise, the last time by, all three of the leaders were pretty even with each other, and that is not something that Bensy and Johnston want to see right now. They want to be catching Mitch Welker at the end of this race. Johnston, I will note, Johnston last time by, he was very, very aggressive again, trying to look to the inside of Bensy, going through the infield section at the inside of the Oval's turn 1. So he's still seeing red, and I think Bensy may have been a bit as well, but that's kind of the problem, really. These guys have given a big advantage to Mitch Welker. Oh, and Johnston looks to the inside again.
Watching this battle right here.
Still still had a look to make it side by side there. Down the front stretch again. Johnston got the run. Looks to the inside into 1 this time. Still wheel to wheel, and Johnston has the nose. Bensy tries to come back. Not quite enough yet. Through 1 and 2. Bensy setting up to get a run. Not quite enough this time. Now Bensy trying to get a run onto the back straightaway and into the left-hander that follows.
Going down the back stretch, Holman straight, coming to turn 7.
Johnston defending to the inside.
Welker already a 2.2 second lead while these two continue to fight. Here comes Christopher Hill. He's starting to sneak into the picture there in the background.
Yeah, looking at everything, Christopher Hill probably sees what Betsy and Johnston are doing, and he's thinking,
Yeah, go ahead. Take each other out. Yeah.
yeah, how can this benefit me? He's thinking. I know. I'll wait until something crazy happens.
Tonight's race coverage brought to you by Heinekamp Financial Planning and Tax Service. Heinekamp is a family-run, Indiana-based business that offers a full range of financial planning and tax services, including investment planning, tax preparation, retirement planning, insurance planning, and estate planning. Additionally, they offer a full slate of small business services as well. For more information, visit HeinekampFinancial.com or click on their link in the broadcast description below. We want to thank them for their continued support on the FIS and races here at Indianapolis.
Gap still holding about 2.3 seconds between Welker and Johnston right now.
Join AJ Digby on pit road, giving up a top 10 spot. Now we're watching a battle between Dakota the Maid and Matthew Short as they are nose to tail going into the infield portion in turn 4 area of the oval.
Fight for P7 right now. DeMade started 7th, is currently running 7th. Matt Short in 8th, started 16th. A good run for the 35 crew tonight.
Yeah, your big gainer is actually not too far out of this picture, and it's Cristobal Valenzuela right there. He is up 12 spots to 9th inside the top 10, so he is your big gainer of the day so far.
Yeah, great performance by both of those guys, and behind him, Cody Claiborne in P10 has been up 5 spots from 15th to 10th. But Valenzuela just had a quiet night, but those are really all you need, especially when you're starting towards the back of the field, because the quiet ones tend to prosper when you start towards the back and work your way up.
See this battle brewing between Short and DeMade. Short's probably going to have a run on DeMade here going down the front straight, going to pull alongside him. Matthew Short on push to pass. He only has one push after this.
Yeah, he's burned up a lot of them.
And gets the pass on DeMade, and DeMade's down to 1 as well.
Yeah, DeMade is going to have to pick his moment wisely here. And this is one of those tracks where push to pass is incredibly strong with the long straightaways here at Indianapolis. And having the extra power on tap, you're going to be carrying a lot more straight line speed than you would otherwise. So it's a blessing and a curse in many ways. You have this power, but you don't have many chances to use it. You're going to have to be careful when you do and not let it get the better of you.
Right, and there's about 3 spots on this course where you can actually, if you want to use it, you can, of course, use it to attack and defend. Right now, we're showing each one of these guys with 1 push of the button left. Cristobal Valenzuela sneaking into the picture. Short, the teammate to Nick Johnston, so a good team day for those two. And that is for the team championship. Dakota getting a good run on Short on the main straight. Closes the gap a little bit going into 1. Not close enough to take a look, though, as they follow him back into the infield portion on the north end of the racetrack.
And Matthew Short just
starting to pull away now, actually.
Starting to pull away, it looks like.
And we go back up front. Mitch Welker, your leader by 2.8 seconds, has AJ Digby between him and Nick Johnston, P2.
Yeah, and I'm sure in some ways Johnston and Bensy are kicking themselves.
Principal Dan moving up to 11th now over Christian Jasper going into turn 7. So Principal Dan aggressively working his way up on the verge of the top 10 right now.
Next in line is 10th place, in fact. That's Cody Claiborne in the Fish car, and Piazza has been picking up spots left, right, and center, and he's got the pace to catch up to Cody. Cody last time by was a 14.3. Piazza was a 13.9. It may take a few laps to do it, but Principal Dan has got the pace, I would think, to close up that gap. The gap between them, about 1.5 seconds.
Christian Jasper, Matt Houston battle for... Actually, this is Logan Spath, Matt Houston battle for position going in the 1. Matt Houston gets the position, move him up to 13th. Actually, I think he was holding off on the position, so he holds on to 13th.
Yeah, and Houston, bit of a lockup there as well. So the 66, running on the soft compound tire, I'll say. So he's running these softs in the middle stint here. But here comes Spath once more. He's running on
inside.
hard.
Yep. He's gonna try to. He's gonna give the boss man a little extra room.
Don't do that to your teammate, buddy. Please don't. Especially not to your boss man, Matt Houston.
Actually, they're teammates on RaceVerse, but due to the way that teams are done here in the FIS, he is actually a teammate to which they call Team Stowe, which is they're both from the Ohio area, which is Caleb and Spath. They make up that team right there. But Matt into the wall in the corner of exit number 14. You don't see that very often.
No, that's. Yeah, he did. He just hit the wall there with the left side of his car coming onto the front straightaway.
Front wing damage, actually.
And I'm not seeing too much damage visually right now.
All right.
But either way you slice it, that is not going to be looking too pretty for Matt Houston right now.
And last time I saw someone hit that wall on the road course, it was, well, I'm sure there's been others, but Ralph Schumacher comes to mind.
Yeah, that was the easy one to go to. There is Ralph Schumacher.
Ralph Schumacher.
In 2005, before the 2005 U.S. Grand Prix happened, and well, I don't think I need to explain that one to anyone who's in the know. But long story short, before the worst F1 race of all time, and there is no argument for that I will accept.
Well, it's not Bridgestone's fault. Let's put it that way. Bridgestone had the homework done from Firestone.
Yeah,
of course,
Bridgestone did it right.
Firestone, of course, is the official tire supplier, lone tire supplier of the NTT IndyCar Series. So they had the data and the homework done. Michelin is the one that showed up here thinking that they could throw on four sets on a car, or at least four tires on a car, and everything would be okay.
That too, and also I lay blame at the FIA as well for their stupid rules and their stupidly rigid command structure at the time. This was because let's not forget here, as shocking as this may sound, 2005 was a date before social media was widespread. I know that's hard to believe for a lot of you, but 2005 was a time where you didn't have instant access to all the news, so you were just in the dark of what was going to happen, and that was true for the teams as well. And like everything was just happening, everything seemed to drop a bombshell on them all at once, when really it was a combination of factors that have been building up for a while.
Yeah, I think while we're talking about it, I'd like to see Formula One come back to Indianapolis. I think Formula One should be at Indianapolis. I think all the major forms of motorsport should come through Indianapolis at some form of another. Of course, we're going to get IMSA next year, I believe. But I'd like to see F1 back. I tell you, this track is got a lot more heritage to it than that new course out in Texas for COTA. And COTA is just so flat. Well, it's not flat because there's obviously elevation changes, but it's just so.
Have you seen other Tilcodromes?
Yeah, it's just so flat and eventless. There's just nothing there.
I will give COTA this, though. It has more character than a lot of other Tilcodromes I've seen. That, and plus the atmosphere there on race day with the people that show up, and they're the most attended F1 races on the calendar. That sort of energy is really hard to replicate. I can honestly only think of Indianapolis itself and Daytona as well that have that same sort of energy with just that many people at the circuit.
Currently watching Caleb Benzie, who now is about 2.1 behind Nick Johnston. Johnston 3.6 up to Welker. Benzie 3.9. Yeah, 3.9 over Hill. That is your top four. Jose Ramirez is in 5th. While we got a moment, let's go through the top 10 here. Here's Ramirez in 5th. Dakota the Maid now 6th, getting around Cody Claiborne. Cody Claiborne in 7th. And Christian Jasper in 8th. And he has a very hot Principal Dan on his tail. This is 4th position.
Jasper actually locked a brake there going into that left-hander at the end of the straightaway. But Piazza now all over the gearbox of him as we expected before. Piazza started 13th. Is not the place we expect him to see him at.
He's worked his way in the top 10.
But he is making up a lot of position. He's done very well tonight.
He might get a run on Christian going down the front straight. Where's front straight paralleling Georgetown Road, as they parallel Georgetown Road right there. And coming into the infield portion right in front of basically the turn 4 grandstands. That hex scoreboard that you see occasionally in the background here on the north end of the racetrack right there off to the left is been destroyed. They've torn that down. And there is a hex scoreboard on the south end of the racetrack, which they will soon be destroying as well. Those have been there for as long as I can actually remember. Here comes Principal Dan to the inside. Christian giving him a ton of room.
Had a peek there, not quite enough to get the pass done, but Piazza definitely making his presence known behind the 44 machine.
Rejoining the oval in turn 2, right in front of the Riley Children's Hospital Suites, into the North Chute, or South Chute, excuse me.
Along 16th Street.
Yeah, that's the South 16th Street main entrance there, right behind the turn 1 grandstands, which this is where the camera shot is shooting from. Right behind that is where the main ticket office and offices are for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Piazza.
You can't tell I've been here a number of times, can you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here three times actually. 2 for a race and 1 actually with a friend while I was passing through just to go to the museum. But
which you should do, everybody. If you're coming through Indianapolis, which pretty much if you're running on I-70, I-65, I-69, I-75. Or I-74, excuse me, you come through Indianapolis, stop at the Speedway. The Hall of Fame Museum is open year-round, and it's free. You could give a donation if you like, but it's free, and the amount of history that you get to look at for that cost is priceless.
I will agree completely. And another thing you can do at the museum as well, you can take a tour around the Speedway in a bus, and while you're on the tour, you can kiss the yard of bricks as the winners do after they win.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 would kiss again.
If you're wearing a hat, though, you got to make sure you put it on backwards.
Exactly. In fact, I did that when I came here. It was actually the year I won Split 3 of the iRacing Indy 500, and I thought this would be a perfect capstone to that. I had to wear my 2016 Indy 500 hat backwards, and got my picture taken at the yard and kissing the yard of bricks, and just the perfect capstone to a great moment in my eyes for my sim racing ambitions.
Still watching this battle between Jasper and Principal Dan. Yep. Speedway, it's on the west side of town. It's not too far off the main loop around Indianapolis, which is Interstate 465. You can hop off real quickly, stop by the museum, and then you can actually, if you want to, go visit the Lara factory, which is right there in the town of Speedway, which is basically on the opposite corner of where the ticket office is on 16th Street. And you can have lunch there and then get back on the road and continue your trip where it is you're going. But this is why Indianapolis is the crossroads of America. All roads lead here and through Indianapolis. And if you're going to be on one of them, you got to stop here.
Yeah, it's absolutely. And every racing fan, I think, should visit Indianapolis at some point in their lives.
It's kind of like Dan on the inside, of Christian Jasper. He is going to get the position. Jasper concedes. Move Principal Dan up to 6th.
Great job so far by Principal Dan tonight up to P6 indeed, because Jose Ramirez came in out of 5th place.
And back up to the front, we had a pit stop. Making his last stop is Welker. He just stopped just now, and he is coming up to speed. Welker is on the alternate tire, so that turns the lead over to Nick Johnston. Nick Johnston is your leader over Bensy and Hill.
Yeah, the big concern for Hill right in this case, for Hill, Bensy and Johnston. Welker comes in. He's going to be on the fastest tires possible for the time being, and that definitely means that when the cycle's over, he's going to have an even bigger gap. I would think if I'm Johnston and Bensy, I'd want to come in now and put on res to try and counter that.
We got someone in chat saying, let's go, Chris. I'm guessing that is Christopher Hill. I don't see any other Chris's in the lineup.
Unless you're talking about Cristobal Valenzuela.
Well, yeah, I guess there's Cristobal, and I guess there's Christian Jasper. So if you shorten their names, they could be Chris's.
Yeah, same root name.
Yeah, right now, we've had quite a bit of attrition. We started with 27 cars. Unfortunately, 4 cars did not make it past lap 1. And then we've slowly started burning cars one by one thereafter. Hugo Galez is the last car running. He is currently in 17th, 1 lap down. Matt Houston 16th, Gavin Sanders 15th, Cristobal Valenzuela in 14th, AJ Digby 13th. Dakota DeMay 12th, Matthew Short 11th, Frankie Franchica 10th. Inside the top 10, everybody from 9th on up is on the lead lap. Ramirez, Spath, Jasper, Piazza, Claiborne, Welker, Hill, Bensy, and Johnston, your leader.
Yeah, the thing though with that is, as Mitch Welker puts in a 1:11.6 to Nick Johnston's 1:13.1. What a lap by Mitch Welker. That probably is the fastest lap of the race.
That's probably purple by a mile. Let's go ahead. We could show you everyone's best lap. And yeah, there's not a single soul in the 1:11. Oh, Sanders got a 1:11.8. Must have been earlier in the race when he was racing with a little anger because he got some damage, I think, on one of those early incidents. But Welker now has the purple lap of 1:11.6.
Yeah, and really the attrition we're seeing tonight, it just goes to show how different Indianapolis road course has changed with the old configuration versus the new one, especially with how important not making a mistake has become. Because on the old one, yeah, it wasn't the most forgiving track in the world, but at the same time, you still had some leeway with some of the tighter corners and some of the curbing here. Now, there really is no such... There really is nothing to really like trying to think of the problem, trying to think of the wording here amazingly, but there's really nothing to hold you back from making a mistake and having it cost you. As Caleb Bensy comes on to pit road out of P3, Welker breezes on by, of course, and now Hill and Johnston are the 2 leaders still left on these hard tires as Johnston now comes on the pit road.
We're watching Bensy right now. He is in the middle of a bunch of traffic.
Oh, that big lock up there by Christian Jasper side by side as Caleb Bensy side by side through the chicane there. Bensy on fresh tires. He's going to look to the inside there. I'm sure he does not like Jasper fighting as hard as he is. Looking to the inside this time. Oh, forces him way out wide. That was an aggressive move, no doubt, by Caleb Bensy. No contact, though. And he manages to get going there after Principal Dan, the next driver in line. But Christopher Hill stays out. Nick Johnston on pit road for the final time.
Dan has run down Cody.
Yes, he has. He has run down Cody Claiborne, currently in P5. Claiborne now ducks on the pit road.
Yep. Here goes Principal Dan. Now move Dan up to 4th.
Now he's got Caleb Bensy all over his 6 o'clock position, looking to the inside down the front straightaway. Bensy looking very strong once more. Can he clear him on entry? Yes, he can. They have a lock up there from Piazza.
Hey, real
As
quick,
now-
a bit of a broadcasting note. On November 19th, the Indy Open Saturday Strength of Field broadcast, which we normally hold here on RaceVerse, will conflict with the Open Wheels 500. So in an effort to remove as many conflicts as possible for the iRacing IndyCar community, RaceVerse will be moving our coverage back a day to the Friday 7 p.m. Eastern time split. So again, mark your calendars. RaceVerse Indy Open Strength of Field broadcast for Week 10 at Indianapolis, with coverage sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups, is being pushed back a day to Friday, November 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern. We want to thank the community members for their feedback, and we wish all the competitors good luck at Indy on that action-packed weekend.
Yep, and one of them is going to be me, funnily enough, if I make it through qualifying, that is.
That is going to be some nail-biting qualifications there.
Oh yeah, it's a proper bump day. The top 33 make it through, and it's going to be a huge turnout, so that's going to be really exciting.
And actually, the start of November is really the start of the month of May for this whole Open Wheels event. That they will actually start with a Indy Grand Prix. I think this weekend, possibly. I've not been watching that portion of the schedule, but that will go and then lead into qualification weekend and then race weekend. So something you want to check out, or maybe you want to be a part of.
Yep, it's this Saturday, and I was actually throughout this whole broadcast, I've kind of been taking notes myself about what these guys have been doing all night long, so I can get the best performance I can on Saturday. So that's going to be a very exciting weekend and a very exciting month of November for the Open Wheels series. But here in the Formula Indy Series, we've had an exciting season all throughout, and we've had, frankly, a masterclass on what aspiring champions of sim racing want to do in the form of Mitch Welker's campaign. Mitch Welker has just had a spectacular season, and he's done pretty much everything to the letter perfect right now. If you want to talk about championship campaigns and you want to pick the brain of somebody in sim racing, I think Mitch Welker, and talking about this campaign, is going to be a great example of what to do. Ten laps to go at Indianapolis. Going to be coming to 9 to go this time. 7.2 seconds, the gap between Welker and Johnston last time by Caleb Benty.
6.2 actually now, so Johnston's reeling him in. I just don't know if he's going to have enough time. Tonight's race sponsorship brought to you by Heinekamp Financial Planning and Tax Service. Heinekamp is a family-run, Indiana-based business that offers a full range of financial planning and tax services, including investment planning, tax preparation, retirement planning, something I need to look into, insurance planning, and estate planning. Additionally, they offer a full slate of small business services as well. For more information, visit HeinekampFinancial.com or click on their link in the broadcast description below. Hey, show your support, of RaceVerse, and become one of our Patreon members today. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support the channel now and into the future. There are 3 tiers to choose from. Perks include seeing your name at the end of every broadcast as a part of closing credits, and special designation in our Discord server. As Patreon membership grows, we'll introduce other perks, so stay tuned and join today. Head on over to patreon.com/RaceVerse or click on the link in the broadcast description and pick your tier today. What are you seeing out there?
Looking at Nick Johnston's lap times, a 1:11.7 last time by. Went from 7.2 last lap to 6.1. Nick Johnston is on a tear right now. Can he catch up to Mitch Welker?
7 is not quite the purple lap, but boy,
it's not.
It's a shade of purple. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, purple is the noblest shroud, as they say. Mitch Welker, a 1:12.8 to Johnston's 1:11.7. Welker, let's see what they are this time by. Can that trend continue? Welker still in the 1:12s. Johnston up to the line.
1:12 flat, so he's 0.8 quicker that lap over Welker.
5.2 seconds. This could well, if he keeps up this pace, this could well be a lead battle coming to the checkered flag here. Nick Johnston not giving up. This is a no-quit race right now for the 28 crew.
There's been probably a little bit of pride involved here. You could kind of tell, talking with Nick and all the interviews all season long, that he's been kind of, how does Mitch do it? I've been trying to figure it out. Has he figured it out? Has he found the magic secret sauce? The 11 herbs and spices, secret herbs and spices to Mitch Welker's speed here and all season long. Has he figured it out? Can he reel him in? 4.7 seconds now. 8 laps to go.
This has just been, it's showing the grit and determination he's got. Nick Johnston, let's see what it is coming to the line this time by Welker, a 1:13.1. His pace has fallen off. Johnston, a 1:12.7, 4.8 seconds. The pace has slowed down a little bit on the climb up, but Johnston not quitting at all.
I'll give you a little bit of feedback of what's going on. Welker is 9 laps into his current stint. Johnston only 5, so the tires are 4 laps fresher. The push-to-pass situation is 7 for Welker, 6 for Johnston. Johnston has not used any yet in this battle trying to reel him in, at least in the last couple of laps. And he's now down to 4.6 seconds at the end of the Holman Straight, going back into the Turn 2 infield portion right before we rejoin the oval.
I think I saw a little bit of a lockup from Welker, in fact, in the left-hander at the end of the back straightaway. But Welker still holding firm on this race lead. He's got a few lap cars ahead. You're
going to start seeing him using these push-to-passes now as the lap count gets lower and lower.
Yeah.
4.1, 4.2 now, Johnston to Welker.
He's still catching him as Nick Johnston. We'll see if this will be enough. Down the front stretch we go. 1:12.5 for Welker, 1:13.1.
Oh, my goodness. The tires are falling off on Welker. Can he hang on?
4.3 seconds at the line for Mitch Welker over Johnston. Can he hold on to this? Welker, of course, we know he can hold on to red tires very well, but with Johnston on fresher rubber, let's see if he can maximize.
And you are currently watching the infamous IndyCar tire compound glitch. You see on Nick Johnston's car, if we go to actually an in-car here, you'll see that he is on the black sidewall tire, but timing and scoring confirms that he is on the alternate tire. So he is on the soft tire, and both he and the leader are on that same compound, and he is reeling them in 3.7 seconds now. And your leader is starting to encounter lap cars.
5 laps to go at the stripe. Welker has got to hope these lap cars play nice with him and hope that they don't play nice with Johnston.
That's A.J. Digby. He moves to the inside.
A.J. Digby.
Yeah, Digby's going to steer real clear out of the way here.
Coming up to the stripe. Welker a 13.4. Johnston a 12.5. 3.4 seconds.
Oh.
It's getting close, folks. It's getting really close. 5 laps to go at the Brickyard.
Now, if A.J. Digby does Johnston the service, and he did Welker, as we move over here on the Holman Straight, or at least in the Turn 2 area. Camera shot peeping through that bridge area.
Yeah. Bit of an awkward view there, but A.J. Digby, he's not quite close enough, I don't think, to get that to get the blue flag to tell him that, hey, Johnston's closing up behind you. He probably will now, so he's going to be saying, hey, it'd be nice of you to let him go here. And that's certainly what Johnston wants right here. To this slow section right now, he'll probably let him go on the front straightaway this time.
3 seconds, now 2 under 3 seconds. And actually, he might be able to use Digby to get some pull. No, he's going to use Digby to get some pull down the front straight with the draft.
Yeah, he's using him to pull him down the front straight with a little bit. Comes very close there. But Johnston.
2.4.
Whoa, this is really helping his cause here. 2.4 seconds at the end. It was 2.9 at the line. He's definitely made up a lot of ground right now. 4 laps to go. Nick Johnston, no quit. No quit from the cockpit of that 28 tonight.
Make sure everyone likes, shares, subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up, especially the way this race is ending. This definitely deserves a thumbs up with the way that we're coming down to could be a possible last lap dash.
It could
between our two
very
leaders.
well. And you can definitely see both the 76 and the 28 in the same camera shot. Bit of a lockup once again from Mitch Welker going into that right-hander.
We got 17 people currently watching right now and only 5 thumbs up. Come on, guys. You can do better than that. Show your appreciation.
Yeah, show your appreciation for the spectacle we're seeing tonight. 2.4 seconds at the line.
3 to go.
Johnston with a 12.7. Welker with a 13.2.
We're going to ride on board with Nick Johnston.
This very fast chicane up on that right-hand curve. You can actually make that one work.
He sends it deep in the 7.
Yes, he does. Johnston is all on it, maximizing every last apex.
All right, push to pass situation. Welker 5, Johnston 2. But Johnston's used up a couple here in the last couple laps as we last reported on that. Now, Welker is encountering, is that Logan Spath?
I think it is. It's the number 3 of Logan Spath in front of him. Down the front stretch again. 2 laps to go at Indianapolis.
Logan will definitely want to try to stay on the lead lap, but he does not want to impact this battle. If they get close to him here in the next couple laps, he'll probably move over and let this battle on through.
Wasn't much of a gain that time for Nick Johnston. 2.3 seconds now. The gap still a little bit quicker, but it won't be enough at this rate.
And I'm wondering at this point, maybe those tires have stalled out. He's been on the tires for now 10 laps, 14 for Welker. Welker just needs to make him last 2 more laps.
Yeah, I think we may be getting to that point where they're pretty much even performance right now. You get to something of a crossover point even for the same tires. But also looking further back here, Matthew Short, Principal Dan, and Dakota DeMay in the battle for 7th. This is getting pretty close at the line.
Oh, here comes Principal Dan to the inside of Dakota, going down the front straight, going down the 1.
Piazza to the inside. He clears Dakota.
And Christian Jasper is going to kind of follow through.
Oh, not quite enough. Matthew Short holds him off there. But Mitch Welker coming to the line. White flag in the air. 1.8 seconds the gap between Welker and Johnston.
Johnston is Winchester. That's a 0 on to push the passes. So he needs to do this the old-fashioned way. 1.9 seconds the gap.
Is that battle still for 9th place and for 8th place, I should say. Dakota DeMay holding off Matthew Short and Christian Jasper, getting really interesting. But this lead battle coming to the end. Nick Johnston has put on a very valiant effort, but I don't think it will be enough. Final couple of corners and a capstone to a dominant season. Welker punted off on the first lap, but he's done typical Welker things, and he's gotten himself back up into the fight. And Mitch Welker, what an end to a dominant season. Mitch Welker gets the win at Indianapolis. A great capstone for our champion. And Johnston comes up to the line in second. The gap at the end, 1.7 seconds. Yep. But this battle behind him.
Here
Dakota
comes
DeMay,
Caleb
Matthew
Binsey.
Short, and Christian Jasper.
Binsey 3rd. And he immediately parks it and punches out. I think he's had a fill of this race. Christopher Hill 4th. Here comes Jose Ramirez in 5th. And Frankie Franchica has still got some ways to go. He's still in the turn 2 portion of the oval infield. He's back out on. He's had himself a good race, up 4 spots. Looking at a top 10.
Jasper I'm looking at Jasper trying to make a move on Matthew Short right at the end of this race. He has a peek way down the inside. Oh, he hits the car on the main. All three of them are selected. All three of them are hit. Another car spun behind them. I believe that's Cody Claiborne as well. But they gather it up though.
Here comes
Trying to
Gavin
see
Sanders. Gavin Sanders works his way up in the P8.
That is a lot of freebies for Gavin Sanders. He's going to finish 8th.
Matthew Short's going to fall short just to Cristobal Valenzuela. Cody Claiborne. There's going to be a lot of angry people on that one.
I think there's going to be a lot of angry drivers at the end of this race with that one. Oh, no. So it's Sanders, Valenzuela, and Short rounding out the top 10 after all of that. Oh, my goodness. What a finish.
Welker taking his victory lap using the oval turn 1.
Mitch Welker brings it to the line. Does a nice burnout for us over the yard of bricks.
And let's get you the final standings here. For the last race of the season, Mitch Welker. Let's see, that is, we did 12 races this season. Is that 9 for 12? Or 10 for 12? We had Escovaria win 1. We had, I think he's 10 for 12, because Escovaria and Seifert are the only 2 other winners. No, we had a third winner in there. We had, he did 9 for 12, because we had, Caleb won at Road Atlanta. So, of course, how can we forget the night race? So 9 for 12, not too bad. That's a great series at the plate. But that's domination when it comes to racing. Mitch Welker, your winner. Nick Johnson, P2. It's kind of been like that all season long. Caleb Bency, P3. That might have moved him into the 3rd place into the standings there. We'll see. Christopher Hill, P4. Jose Ramirez, P5. Frankie Franchica, P6. Principal Dan worked his way up to 7th. Great run for him. Gavin Sanders, he had a bit of a give-me in that last lap, getting him the 8th. Cristobal Valenzuela benefited as well in 9th. Matthew Short, 10th. Logan Spath, 11th. Cody Claiborne, he's kind of a victim of that last lap as well. He is P12. Christian Jasper, P13. Let's see here. Let's get this track map graphic out of the way. There we go. Christian Jasper, 13th, and I'm sure that might be penalized position since we don't have any other races to go this season for that full sin that took out 3 cars to go to the main. Surely not happy. He was in the top 10 all day, 14th. AJ Digby. Like I said, you can't have an IndyCar race at Indianapolis without an AJ in the lineup. He finishes 15th. Further on, Hugo Gallas, 16th. I believe he was the last car running. Matt Houston, 17th. I think Matt was still running at the end. Dan Miglin, 18th. Matthew Johnson, 19th. Escovaria, 20th. Jeff Groff, 21st. Flaum, 22nd. Wang, 23rd. Daly, 24th. Seifert, 25th. Unfortunately, that lap 1 incident. White, 26th. And Padahar, 27. 27 cars show up, and we've had all season long here in the Formula Indy Series. Great car counts for just about all of our races. I want to thank all the participants coming out all season long. Sometimes racing knowing that Mitch Welker's going to win and still putting their best out there and showing up every week. That says a lot. So I want to thank all the participants this year for showing up. 27 cars tonight. Thank everyone for showing up tonight.
Fantastic season, and really, we say so much about Mitch Welker being the dominant force of the series, but his performance, I think, has really helped a lot of other guys improve their performance as well.
You got to step it up if you want to compete with them, right?
And I think we saw that here tonight as well, because Bency and Nick Johnston, they put on performances that gave Welker a run for his money tonight. It really showed just how much these guys have stepped up to the plate, stepped up the game really, and has made this league even more competitive going forward, and it's put on fantastic racing. You got to give them credit where it's due.
Let's bring Caleb into the booth. Actually, down here. There we go. Caleb into the booth. Caleb, congratulations. We saw you park the car immediately crossing the start-finish line. I'm guessing you were a little exhausted and just wanted to punch out as quickly as possible. But congratulations on the P3. Tell us about your race.
Yes, that was exactly. Yeah, no, it was a bit of an interesting one. Qualified pretty decent. I think I had a little more pace in it, but ultimately it didn't matter. But yeah, start was chaos, get blown up on the start because don't have dual clutch as always. So lose about 4 spots, but then got them all back with the chaos. But yeah, and then it was just kind of not cruising, but yeah, in a way. And then had the run-in with Johnston, which was a little frustrating, but and then I think I had some right front suspension damage because it was just unbelievably understeer. Like I was super low on the front bar for the whole rest of the race, and it was still just plowing. So, and you could see too, I dropped like a rock time wise. So after that, it was just agonizingly counting down the laps. So yeah, you can imagine it was happy to get out of there.
Go ahead, Steve.
And yeah, the thing that I noticed, of course, was that you and Nick Johnston, like you were really keeping pretty even pace with Mitch Welker for quite a while there, especially early on in the going. But then after the first cycle of pit stops, you guys started battling each other, and that allowed Welker a chance to get by you and run off with the lead there. I'm guessing that is another thing you guys, that both you and Johnston are lamenting a little bit. What was going on there?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing, I don't know if you got on the broadcast, but Johnston got me really good coming out of the pits. Like, he just came out, I'd passed him, and he tried to send up into the, turn...
We did see it.
Turn 4, I mean, that was... Especially on full
Yeah,
tires, he was going to miss the corner by about 5 yards, and that was his breaking point. So,
yeah.
that lost a ton of time, like I said, from there, lost a lot of grips. That was pretty frustrating, predictable.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, after, like I said, after that, it was just... I mean, I had no shot at anything in front of me, and just so trying to maintain, didn't let anything happen behind me. So, yeah, just trying to cruise and get P3.
Yeah, and you held on to that, and really the performance that was had tonight, especially before the contact with Nick there, it really showed that the three of you now, like we talked so much about Mitch Welker just running away with the show most weeks. But Welker seemed to be pretty close to you guys now. It looks like you guys have definitely stepped up your game. Would you say that you've grown a bit more throughout the season, perhaps?
Yeah, I think for sure I feel definitely closer. I would credit a lot of that to the setups and stuff, which I know we've kind of mentioned here and there, but like I feel like there was a very distinct change one week, and man, the car came alive. Like you had to drive like an actual IndyCar, which is nice. And I mean, it's my job to do better at the other type of setup as well, but this just is so much more natural, so much more realistic, fits my driving style, and so that's kind of, I feel like, been the main reason why pace has definitely been much more improved over the first half of the season. But yeah, it's nice to be up front. I mean, I think Daytona, I think a little bit of lap traffic went a different way. I think I would have had a legit shot at the win there, and obviously got the win at Road Atlanta. So it was pretty nice because the first half of the season was very demoralizing and very frustrating. So yeah, so to turn it around, and I think I was able to get P3 in the standings.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to let you know that you definitely dug yourself out of a hole, and you worked your way up to P3. Your stat line for the season: 1 win, now 6 top 5s and 8 top 10s, and so that's how you do it, man. So congratulations.
I'd love to know the percentage of those that was after Nürburgring or something, because I don't think there was a single top 10 before that. So yeah, pretty happy to wrap it up the way we did.
And one thing I want to ask all three of the podium finishers tonight, between the old Indy road course and the new one, what's your thoughts between them?
Big fan of the new one by a wide margin, in my opinion. I think it has a lot more flow to it. I mean, I think that's probably just the biggest thing right there. Like the S's kind of before you go into turn 2, the oval has such a nice flow and rhythm. You can really attack, and turn one's more of a passing zone with the bigger brake zone, with it being tighter. And yeah, I truly really enjoy this track a lot. So for me, that's an easy call, but I wonder what
Yeah.
everyone else has to say.
Right.
Well, this is it until January. I know you got a couple of other races until then. I know you got at least one Lionheart Series race or a couple Lionheart Series races to go. You got the RL starting back up in December, so some things to look forward to. But in terms of FIS, you're done for a little bit. Final shout outs for the season and getting that third place on the overall podium. Something to thank all those fans for.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thanks to you guys, RaceVerse. I already got a few texts from family and everything, so they're all tuning in, enjoy the broadcast every week. So thanks to you guys, Fawn and Fanny, hear it every time. But if you haven't, please check it out, custom body care at fawnandfanny.com. And yeah, to the family and friends who support as always, grandparents, parents, friends, appreciate all you guys so much. Makes it more fun when everyone's tuning in and talk about it later at some point. And yeah, pretty happy to round out the season the way we have. It's definitely a kind of surprise, and definitely not complaining. So pretty awesome.
Well, we'll see you in the FIS next, probably January 10th when we open at Sebring. But we'll see you on the broadcast next, more than likely when we open the RIL season at Homestead here on December 7th. So until then, get your practice in, get your rest in, and we'll catch you in a little bit.
Will do. Thank you, guys.
All right. Let's move him from the channel. And he's already gone. He's like, I'm going.
Yeah.
Let's bring down Nick Johnston. Hey, Nick, we got you in the booth. Man, we saw you ticking it down from an 8-second lead he had, and you got it down to about a second or a second and a half, 2 seconds there at the end. We thought maybe this is the chance that you figured out the red tires over Mitch. Maybe you learned something that he learned his secret of the red tires, but just ran out of time, man. We were kind of rooting for a really closer finish than what we saw. So needless to say, we're kind of pulling for you a little bit, not to necessarily beat Mitch, but definitely to make it a lot closer finish. And it looked like you were on your way, but it just stalled out. Tell us about your race.
It was a decent race. I got a fantastic start from fourth on the grid.
Yeah, you did.
Leading into turn one, so that was really good. And then I don't know, I forgot how to brake and how to drive the first few laps, and I'd be on some track position, and just kind of fell into a rhythm. And towards the end of that first stint, I felt that I was probably a little bit nicer to my tires than Caleb, and ended up getting by him. I'm just trying to drive away. He was able to undercut me, and I came out of the pits, and I just made a dumb move and tagged him cold tires. It was just some drivers in this league, when you race them, they race like it's the last lap, and I try to stay ahead of those drivers whenever I can, because I know how much time's gonna be lost just trying to get that one position.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried for that, made a mistake. I ended up getting by and pulling away in the end. And I think if I had maybe a little bit cleaner race, would have been a little bit closer, maybe even could have got Mitch there at the end. I knew the reds were going to fall off. In hindsight, I probably should have pitted the same lap he did and just try to run down pure pace. But I think he was a little bit faster, and we're going to have to do something a little different to get him.
Yeah, and that's one thing we were talking about as well, that you seem more even this week than you were in weeks past with Welker. So, and one thing I was wondering is that because we talked at Belle Isle about how good Welker is at maximizing the red tires over a stint. Do you think this performance says that you may have figured out a trick or two of his, perhaps, or was it something else?
I mean, honestly, I don't feel like I did anything different. Maybe just the way the track is. It seemed like I was already better at saving tires than cars around me during the race. So maybe that just kind of piled on top of it and maybe made the situation look better than it really was. I don't think there was anything. I didn't do anything different. So I don't know, maybe just my driving was a little bit better tonight or whatnot. But I mean, a track that I don't even feel like I'm great at, to run this close and almost get a win on the season was pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. And also the note was the contact with Caleb Bensi there, and you seem to get away the better one of the two. What happened there?
Just like I said earlier, I came out on cold tires. I know Caleb's a very hard racer and races you to the bone. So I felt I had an opportunity and I took it and I just locked up a little bit and ran wide. When I tagged him, I got on the brakes, let him have the position, let him go. And then I got by him later. Same kind of situation happened, but he just kept going. So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so. And question that I asked Caleb before: old Indy versus new Indy. What are your thoughts?
I like this track a lot more. I think there's a lot of technical sections there, especially in the final sector, where a driver who's a little bit more in tune with the tires and making the speed and the slow speed can really make the difference. So I definitely like this circuit a lot more. And that last corner is a lot sketchier than you would think it would be. There's some laps you come out there and you're borderline wrecking.
Well, your final stat line for the season here: no wins, but 9 top fives, 10 top tens. No poles, master of consistency next to Mitch, of course. We said any other league, any other series where Mitch Welker is not part of the lineup and you had this field covered and then some. You securely dominated and got P2. So at the very least, P2 is yours for the next little bit while we get into the next season, which will start in January at Sebring. But before then, I'm assuming that we will see you with the number 1 placard on at the RAL race opener at December 7th here on RaceVerse at Homestead. So all in all, not a bad calendar year for you, not a bad season really. I think you have a lot to be proud of. Go ahead and give your shout outs and everything to friends, girlfriends, families, and everything that's out there that they have rooted you on and supported you this whole way to a fantastic season anywhere else.
Yeah, Gary, it's a very consistent season. I just need to do consistently better. I just need a little bit more, maybe a little bit more luck, maybe a little bit more racecraft, and we'll be right there with them next year. But first off, thank you to my wonderful, beautiful girlfriend Danielle for watching. Sorry I got second, so you had to wait a little bit longer, but we're here now. Team Watson Racing, especially my teammate for this series, Matthew Short.
Yep.
Won the team championship.
You did. I believe you did, guys. You did win the team championship. Yep.
Yeah, so that was a good result for the team. Glad to be able to at least bring home one championship. You guys for broadcasting week in and week out do a great job. The Formula Indy Series for putting this on, and all the competitors. I mean, this is the hardest racing out there. I mean, some of these guys, you got to be on your game, and it's hard racing. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, just to confirm on the team championship, the final stat line for the team championship, you guys 9 top 5, 17 top 10s, and you clinched the championship by 52 points. You over the one-man Welker show for now. So congratulations on that. That's 2 in a row for Team Watson Racing in terms of the team championship. So congratulations to James and his team and to you guys as the drivers. And, man, we look forward to seeing you in the lineup for the RL coming up. And we surely hope to see you bringing it at a whole new different level when we hit Sebring here in January.
We're going to give it our best shot. Thanks, Gary.
You got it. Congratulations on the P2.
Thank you.
All right, so we got 2 folks we're going to bring down for the last interview here. I'm going to bring down Mitch, and I'm going to bring down a spotter. Mike Hurley. We've talked about him all season long. And that's actually kind of been one of the themes we talked about, the importance of a human spotter. And we'll bring him in since he's part of the championship winning drivers team to get his take on the season. But Mitch, boy, it didn't look like it early, but somehow you pulled this thing out again. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, a little more hectic than I want, of course. From the practice, I saw guys were quite close in pace, so we knew we were going to be in a race either way. But yeah, certainly getting spun. It ended up being a little bit more of a race than we would have wanted, I think. But an enjoyable challenge nonetheless. Wasn't enjoyable there in the middle, actually. Though.
I was about to say, were you really enjoying it?
In hindsight, yes. But in the moment, the second stint after we got off the Reds, or actually at the end of the first Red stint, we were like matched on pace with the two in front. We weren't gaining anything, so we're talking about it, trying to think, do we go off strat here? Because we ain't gonna get anything done if we stay with them on their strats. So. But no, we kind of just made the decisions we felt were right in the moment, and with a little bit of luck, a little bit of argy-bargy from those two, we got our clean air back and managed to take care of things. So
yeah, we were actually talking about when they were racing really hard, it was just benefiting you right there in that portion of the race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steven.
Yeah, that was it definitely looked like it helped, and it seemed to me like throughout the season, because we've said as much about your team's performance this season, but it also seems like throughout the season some of the other guys have seemed to have caught up, and they've maybe learned a thing or two from you, and they've made the league that much more competitive. We were talking with Nick Johnston, Caleb Bensey. I could also throw in Nate Siefker and Gavin Sanders in the bunch as well. And do you think that that's going to mean that going into next season that it's going to be a closer fight, perhaps?
I would say so, but I will also add that tentatively I will not be able to compete next season because I have a Tuesday night class. It's terrible. So maybe I'll take it this semester, maybe another time. I don't know yet, but tentatively I don't know if I'll be back next season. But yeah, I would agree though for sure that those guys have certainly picked up a lot of pace since the start of the season. And like I said in practice, looking at even in the race again too, like they were quite close with me, and it was going to be a race no matter how we cut it. So certainly, yeah, I think we have upped the SOF a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, my question for Mike. Mike, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a part of this final interview, kind of showing the importance of human spotters. How much was it on you to calm your driver down after spinning there in that turn 1, turn 2 complex at the start?
I mean, I definitely play a role. I always joke that I'm not so much a Pete Bonington as I am Gary Gannon. If you ever tune into the Haas F1 team stuff, where I take a very that's honestly that's a big part of my job is not so much calming Mitch down, but keeping him in the correct headspace, because it's really easy when you're in the car to get into a feedback loop where things aren't going well, so you make more mistakes, and then you get down on yourself because you make more mistakes on top of that. It just piles up and snowballs and causes a mess. And being able to kind of clear that slate for him, I think, is a big part of my job. So.
Well, I believe that on top of Mitch's already fantastic ability that took the lead by storm this season, you're helping him with strategy and keeping him calm, keeping him in the right headspace is probably the other half of the battle, which led to this championship for you two. Congratulations. I know all season long we've been asking Mitch to give shout outs, and we'll give him a chance to give shout outs here or anything, but is there anybody that you want to say hi to, thanks to, teammates, sponsors, anything that you want to push out there? Because you've earned this championship just as much as he has, at least on the driver's level, so I'm sure you got some people you want to thank.
I think you're overselling me a bit, but I'll take it. I at least got to give a shout out to our teammate Evan Adams. He is the guy who got me into into the sim. He taught me pretty much everything I know about the IndyCar. He got me into the IndyCar series. And I wouldn't be nearly as effective of an engineer if I didn't have what he taught me. He for our team as a whole, he's done a lot of the groundwork in kind of figuring out the quirks of the car and the intricacies. So he definitely has a part in it too.
Well, congratulations on you two, Mitch. All season long, and we kind of could just hit record and press play at this point on your shout outs and thank you. But you earned them all, man. And you have the microphone. And if there's anyone you missed at any point during the season, now's your chance. But congratulations, you are now finally the champ. No longer in waiting, but the crowned and reigning champ. Hopefully we'll see you next year. If not, I guess we're looking at another new season championship for next season. But man, what domination! I mean, I can't say that you could have possibly driven any better. I don't know if you could have gone 12 for 12, but that might have been it. So shout outs for you.
Yeah, usual sponsors, LW Haugen, Lazy Rocket, Open Medicine Foundation. Thanks for their partnerships, of course. Thanks again to Mike. I say it every night, but thanks again for at least doing your part of keeping me in the right headspace, in your words. And I also ran a special livery tonight, kind of for bivisibility, biphobia kind of being an issue in my life and others recently. Just kind of saying that, you know, a lot of bi people get, I guess, rejected by the queer community because, you know, maybe they're not fully gay or whatever, or they you know, date the opposite sex, then they're not, you know, queer enough or whatever. But it's such crap, and I'm tired of hearing it. And as a bi guy myself, had to run something for him. You're queer enough. Stop thinking you're an imposter. You're good. I'd say shout out to the rest of the team, Project 2, AAIR, again, like Evan and all the guys back there doing a good job helping me out with little strategy things here and there, and then on the open side too, and coming up for the Open Wheels Grand Prix and 500, I'm teaming up with All American iRacers again for that. So looking forward to that and their help as well. I think that'll be just about all of it.
Well, thank you for bringing that level of sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but thank you about bringing that level of awareness. This is the IndyCar community, among any other community here on iRacing, has a history of openness and inclusiveness to a wide range of sexes, creeds, you name it. We basically have just about the most diverse lineups I've seen in anywhere on iRacing. So thank you for bringing more awareness to that and being a warrior for it here in the IndyCar community. And just a closing stat line for you. For your championship, 9 wins, 11 top 5, 11 top 10s. And for your team there, I do really want to thank AAIR for they're truly one of the giants of the community. To bring their footprint into the FIS is really big. And we hope to see other larger organizations that have teams bring their teams here too. So thank you very much. And go ahead, Steven, you want to say something?
Well, for one, I definitely stand with you with that. with that shout out as well, man. And I hope that everyone around you can really find people that'll support them for who they are, like you hope, and not feel like an imposter as well. But getting to the question I've asked all three of you guys tonight: old Indy road course versus new Indy road course. What's your take?
That's not even a question. It's the new one. The new one is the new one is so much
I figured I may as well ask.
Because I love that little jump chicane going on. I love the new S's climbing over the curbs. I love the new chicane in the oval. I don't love it, but like it's better than, you know, your entire lap being determined by the final braking corner, which is down in the infield still. It adds a little more challenge to it. I enjoy it, and yeah, definitely the new one.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say also, as someone whose best friend is pansexual, I can definitely understand. I definitely get where that shout out comes from, and that's with feeling. So I definitely like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It just felt like it had to be said.
Well, Mad Mike, the spotter, and the champ. Almost sounds like a radio show in the morning. Congratulations, guys, and we hope to see you back here soon. And congratulations in the open wheels, and give them hell on behalf of FIS there on the oval.
I will.
All right, there you have it. That is the champ and the spotter. We really appreciate their time here closing out the broadcast. Well, Steven, it's not the end for me and you, buddy, because we get to cover Monday Night Indy Fix, but it is the end for us for a first complete season of the FIS. Your thoughts of this first season that you have under your belt, and what are you looking forward to next season?
Well, I think more than anything, I saw a league that really has kind of graduated to the next level. Like, we know that this league has had talented drivers before, but adding in the likes of Mitch Welker and adding in like all the talent out here, like kind of feeding off of each other and competing against each other, I think it's really elevated this league to the next level, and it's really made it one of the most competitive I've ever seen. That stat line with Mitch Welker's wins, it kind of disguises the fact that even with Mitch Welker dominating, the racing has been pretty close, and there has been a lot of action, a lot of growth among drivers. And I think more than anything else, if Welker shows up for the next season or not, if he has that class to deal with or not, I think next season is going to be a very special one as well, because these guys are just going to take the strengths that they have built up from this season. They're going to bring it to the next one, and they are going to have a ball next time. I think it's going to be a fantastic season starting in January.
4 seasons of the FIS, 4 different champions. Talk about parity. Gavin Sanders, Nate Seifert, Michael O'Brien, and now Mitch Welker. Your top 10 before we get out of here. The championship points are in. Mitch Welker, of course, your champion. Nicholas Johnson, a distant 158 points behind. Caleb Bency, he was 100 more points behind. Gavin Sanders, unfortunately, did not hold on to that third spot, but did hold on to a top 5. The Season 1 champion finishes 4th. Nate Seifert, the Season 2 champion, P5. Christopher Hill, 6th. Bruno Miranda, 7th, as he sat out the last couple of races. We will see him back in 100% strength coming, I'm sure, either in the RIL or the next season of the FIS. Matthew Short finishes in the top 10 with a P8. Jose Ramirez, the number 2 rookie in the league, finishes 9th. And Dakota DeMaid comes home 10th. And that is your top 10 of the FIS this season. So that's it for tonight and for this season. Once again, your podium for the Heinekamp Financial Grand Prix from Indianapolis Motor Speedway is Mitch Welker, your champion, your winner. Nick Johnston, P2 in the championship, P2 on the race today, and Caleb Bency clinches 3rd in the championship with a podium finish tonight here at Indianapolis. Join Steven and myself January 10th, 2023, as we'll be opening the next FIS season at Sebring for round 1 of the RaceVerse Formula Indy Series. Start time is around 9 p.m. Eastern. Ring the bell, mark your calendars now. That is Tuesday, not next Tuesday. Tuesday, January 10th, 2023 at about 9 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube at youtube.com/RaceVerse. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support RaceVerse with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And for all those that left a like, we really appreciate that. And but if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video, just like this, just like that. And if you're new, click subscribe or while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more RaceVerse's iRacing programming, including the Monday Night Indy Fix series with Steven and I, and the Indy Open Strength of Field race on Saturdays at 2 p.m., sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups. I can find my mouse here. There we go. There you go. Subscribe, ring the bell. And keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. RaceVerse. We know what Indy means. Indianapolis Grand Prix title sponsorship paid for by Heinekamp Financial Planning and Tax Service. Heinekamp is a family-run Indiana-based business that offers a full range of financial planning and tax services, including investment planning, tax preparation, retirement planning, insurance planning, and estate planning. Additionally, they offer a full slate of small business services as well. For more information, visit HeineKampFinancial.com or click on their link in the broadcast description below. For business inquiries and to learn more about RaceVerse and what we do, visit RaceVerse.com, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. Here are all of our Twitter handles right here at the bottom of the screen. RaceVerse, myself, Steven, you can add us, and then we'll be happy to talk all sorts of iRacing, sim racing, you name it, with you on a weekly or daily basis, whatever you want. We're always around. So for Steven Heinekamp, everyone at RaceVerse, I'm Gary Gotzo saying all thanks for watching us this season, and thanks to all the men and women serving in the military and as first responders. Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Congratulations to our season champion, Mitch Welker. Catch us again in January as we open the next season in Sebring for the next race of the RaceVerse Formula Indy Series. Good night!